Six Flags St. Louis is one of the 15 Six Flags parks in the chain across North America and also happens to be my home park. The park boasts the most coasters of any park in the state with 9 really solid coasters, none of which I would really say are bad, but also no crazy good coasters either. It can be a very polarizing park with some people liking it or even loving it, whilst others would go as far to hate the park. I think it mainly depends on how much you like wooden coasters, because if you do, I think this park has one of the best Woody collections in the country with American Thunder, Boss, and Screamin' Eagle. I'm definitely biased towards the park, but I love it. It is a great setting outside of St. Louis in Eureka, Missouri, with woods surrounding a lot of the park's rides and inside the park as well. It's not quite as terrain-based as a park like Dollywood or Silver Dollar City, but many of the park's rides excel with their setting, especially Screamin' Eagle and Boss in the back of the park. The park is also fairly moderately priced, with single-day tickets selling at about $35, but if you live anywhere close to the park and think you can go more than once, I would definitely suggest getting a season pass, which has been upped in price recently but are still fairly cheap. The park leaves a great first impression from the highway as you drive up, and usually don't have too long of a walk from your parking spot to the entrance, which can definitely be an issue at some other parks. The park usually doesn't get too crowded compared to some other Midwestern parks, other than nights during Fright Fest. Park stops can be hit or miss some days, but most of the time, especially later in the year, the lines move pretty quickly and you can easily marathon the coasters if the park is dead. As you walk up to the front entrance of the park, you are greeted with a brand new entrance sign with the arch featured as the backdrop of the park's logo. This was new for the 2020 season and really improved the entrance vibe as a whole. The security and ticket lines are also very fast and easy to get through, especially on slower days. Once you pass the entrance, you are met with a small plaza where you can choose to go left or right, similar to Dollywood's entrance. I almost always go left towards American Thunder to snag a ride, but I would suggest going right for your first time to get on Batman first, as that easily gets the longest lines in the park. If you do continue left through past American Thunder, you go past the park's log flume, which is a classic, and eventually reach the DC Plaza section with Mr. Freeze and Justice League, the park's highly themed shooting dark ride, which is also fantastic. This section also has one of the better food locations in the park, JB's Smokehouse, which has the basic theme park food with some barbecue mixed in, but you can also watch whatever sports games are on, which is a nice touch. You can then go through the covered tunnels by Mr. Freeze to head towards the back of the park and reach the park's River Rapids ride, Thunder River, as well as the park's Ferris wheel. This section is also where most of the kiddie rides are, as well as Pandemonium. More towards the back of the park is Boss and Supergirl, and Boss's queue line, by the way, is a monster, and you'll be pretty tired by the time you make the trek all the way up to the station, but trust me, it's worth it if you get a non-wheel seat, such as the second to back row. You can then make your way to the right side of the park with Screamin' Eagle, as well as the new for 2022 Catwoman Whip this year, which also looks like a great addition even if it's 2 years delayed. This side of the park also has Boomerang and River King Mine Train, the latter of which is a fantastic mine train and the best one I've done, including Adventure Express at Kings Island. You can then make your way down the hill towards the front of the park towards Ninja and back to Batman, which completes the full loop of the park. The middle of the park also has a couple of things, such as the main train station, the other being more near the kiddie area. And this is a must-do attraction, I think, due to how many good views you get of the Woodies that you couldn't get otherwise. Other than the rides and coasters, Six Flags has a couple of other things to offer, such as shows that run periodically throughout the day during the season, mainly towards the middle of the park. The park also has some solid merch, but it's not at the main emporium in the front. It's at this store near the Ferris wheel called Thrill Seekers, and it has all the coaster shirts and nano coasters that you need. Another solid food option would be Moose Burger Lodge towards the opposite side of the park from JB's, and it also has pretty much the same food with ample seating around the area as well. Overall, Six Flags St. Louis is a great home park to have, and I'm extremely excited to get back for this 2022 season in April and also finally ride Catwoman Whip, which looks like a great addition to the park as well. The park has honestly been improving since I first went as a kid, and I really do think the park has a solid top 5, although with no real clear standout coaster. If you are anywhere near the area, and especially if you have a Six Flags pass, I would honestly recommend visiting this park and picking up a bunch of creds, along with some great wooden coasters. Boss is the best in my opinion, but I've heard the argument for all 3 being the best as well. Be sure to check out my other Six Flags St. Louis coaster reviews, as well as my ranking of all the coasters in the park, and subscribe for more theme park content in the near future.